behalf of Collinson on how organizations are putting loyalty back on track. I'd like to now hand over to Mr. Sanjay Gill, General Manager, Middle East, Collinson. Thank you.
Thank you, Alicia. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for being here this morning to attend this event. We really appreciate it. I'm not planning on using the microphone, so if anybody struggling to hear me and my tone sort of drops, just put your hands up, please, and I'll try to speak up. So yes, why are we here today? Collinson Rebrand. Very quickly, as Lisa mentioned, what we're going to focus on, it won't take long, we'll probably take about 30 minutes or so for the presentation, and then we've got an opportunity for some Q&As. But looking at the Collinson evolution, what we'd like to take you through is sort of our heritage and the beginnings of ICLP, as Alicia mentioned, in the region, where we started, our first presence in the region, and giving you a little bit of a background into how we have arrived at where we are today, from ICLP to Collinson. I noticed a few publications and introductions, old friends and people we've actually worked with and had a good relationship and lots of coverage in the media, and I see some new faces as well. So I hope you all take some great positives out of this, and like I say, we'll all be available for some Q&As and a discussion to discuss in more depth some of the information I'll take you through now. So that's the Collinson evolution. Who are we today? And as Alicia mentioned, we've got a special preview today, not the details, but we're going to share with you some research that was conducted globally, commissioned by Collinson, by Foresters. Foresters being a worldwide known entity in the research space. And what I'd like to share with you is some very high-level results around loyalty, and particularly for this region. So we focused on the UAE and KSA, which are obviously key markets for us here. So we'd like to do that. And then a panel Q&A, and then we'll all break for lunch, and we can have some further conversations. Okay? So let me start by just introducing myself and my colleagues and the team. I'm Sanjay Gill. I'm the General Manager for the Middle East. I've been with ICLP and now Collinson for 10 years in this region, working with the team. And to my left, I have Dion Moritz, who is our Regional Director for Middle East, Africa and India, and also Priyanka Latani, who is our Regional Commercial Director. We'll do introductions and get to know each other a little bit later on in the session. So let me start by just giving you a recap in terms of who we are. So many of you may know us as ICLP because that's pretty much been our prominent brand in the region ever since we started. And we work with some of the leading brands, not globally, but regionally. Here, we work with them on customer engagement, we work with them in terms of the loyalty space, we design programs for them, we manage programs, and we run programs, we operate loyalty programs. So that's pretty much the ICLP story, but we've always been more than that. And we're a world leader in customer benefits, which also include travel, insurance and assistance products, and I'll talk about that in terms of our heritage and brands, which in the market may not be as prevalent, and that's one of the reasons that we're here today to talk about our rebrand, is where we're bringing all of our assets together as one entity. But as I mentioned, I'll come on to that, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in the following slides. So for those of you who are new to ICLP or Collinson, I just want to give you a quick run-through in terms of our origins. As I mentioned, when we first set up office here in Dubai to service the Middle East region, we won our first Middle East account, Saudi Arabian Airlines, back in 1993. And and still a client today. And in 1996, on the back of the Saudi Arabian Airlines account, we actually opened our first office here in Dubai. The office opened with 4 employees. And the story at that time, having a very, let's say, sort of reputable client in the region, being Saudi Airlines, it was actually the first frequent flyer program in the region. And we, as ICOP, were managing that program and running that, operating that program on behalf of Saudi Airlines. So that's when we started, back in 1996. And then this is just a snapshot. There's obviously been a lot that's gone on since that day. But in 1999, we started working with Jumeirah, our first hospitality and hotel client in the region, and remains a client today. Fast forward to 2007, we had our first financial services client win, National Commercial Bank in Saudi Arabia. Again, remains a client today. There's a theme here. Not only do we win clients, but we retain them, and we continue to work with them. So that was a financial services client of ours. In 2008, we were hired to work with the Landmark Group here in the region. I'm sure those of you who have been in the region for some time now are very familiar with Landmark, the retail group, but have lots of other divisions within their business. It was consolidating their program, so they relaunched, and the program today is Shukran, that you will know hopefully about, and that was in 2008. In 2011, you'll have recognised the titles for Dion and Priyanka here, their regional roles. The ICOP office was officially regionalised, as well as our parent company Collinson, in headquartered in the UK. So the business was regionalised into 4 global regions, and our region being Middle East, India, and Africa. And hence Priyanka and Dion's roles here. They do cover the whole region, not just the Middle East. That was about 2011. 2016, another great achievement, the business, our very first government win, and we're working with the RTA. We'll come on to that. And 2018, today, we become Collinson, and now over 70 employees in the Dubai office in the Middle East. That's not regional, that's just here in Dubai. So that's just a very quick snapshot and timeline of who we are, some of the sort of milestones in terms of our journey from back in 1993 to 2018. We've touched on some of the key milestones in terms of the sectors across frequent flyer programs, hospitality hotel programs, financial services and retail. But very quickly, here's just another snapshot of some of the clients and businesses and brands that we provide services to today. I won't go too much into this, but this is really just to give you an idea that we do over to the leading brands in the region. And we've been in the media, so this is a press conference, but it's not our first foray into working with, again, some of the elite and esteemed publications in this region. However, it has traditionally been as ICOP and some of our other parent company brands, which I'll come on to, but we've had, and we're very proud to say that we've had some great exposure, some great publicity in the media, but predominantly as ICOP. So that's something we're looking to now evolve as we move to the new brand of Collinson. When I say some of the other brands that may or may not be as prominent or familiar to you, although we have had press releases, we have talked to the media, we do talk to clients in the region, have been our brands and businesses of Welcome Realtime and Collinson Latitude, as well as ICOP. Welcome Realtime is one of the world's leading loyalty solutions platforms. So powers a lot of the programs that we manage and run today, and Collinson Latitude, predominantly working in the e-commerce space and also around platforms and engagement tools that we as ICOP use to obviously provide the services that we do to our clients, and that all becomes our loyalty proposition to market. But they have traditionally, historically, been separate brands of their own entity, if you like. But we've always been more than just the loyalty platforms, commerce, solutions, technology, the strategy and the sort of designing of programs, running and managing programs. We've always been more than that. It's just that it's not actually been held as one entity or one company in the past. We've always had this disparate, separate companies, separate entities. When we talk to our clients, when we talk to our prospects, yes, we explain, we have different divisions and different product service teams and proposition teams where we work together to bring the solution, but we've never been able to actually talk to our clients and prospects, or as we are today to yourselves and the media, as being one entity that brings everything together holistically under a single proposition. So what else is there within Collinson? Few did you know facts. I know you all like seeing some interesting did you knows. So our travel experiences solutions, I'm sure Priority Pass is another one of those brands that maybe the connection to ICOP or Collinson hasn't traditionally been made, but as a standalone brand, it's very prevalent in this region. So that's the lounge program, which is also part of the Collinson suite of products. And more recently, Lounge Key, which was actually piloted here in this region in the Middle East before it rolled out. So, interesting fact, we have a person visit a lounge in our program every second. That's globally, not just in this region. Not only do we operate the largest lounge program worldwide, Priority Pass now has exceeded over 1,200 lounges globally. We've also evolved and developed that concept, whereby we have another division, Airport Lounge Development, where we're actually owning our own lounges at airports. Currently today, we've got 21 lounges across the US and UK, with a steady growth plan to expand even further, which we will see to roll out. Also in other geographies and other markets, but right now, currently, we're focusing on US and UK, where there's high traffic, high volume. I talked about technology and our loyalty solutions. We have an award-winning loyalty solutions platform that handles over 23 million daily loyalty transactions on a single platform, obviously across multiple clients. And we reward over 100 million end customers, not our clients, the customers of our clients, which is why we're here. And that's how we help our clients obviously run their businesses to target their end customers and happy customers. We've also run our own UK insurance brand for over 30 years. And we also provide global medical and security assistance. So as you can see, when you put all this together, we are in the loyalty space. We are doing a lot in terms of our customer target audience, are travellers, people who touch us in lounges. They're travelling, they're taking flights, our clients are airlines, they're staying in hotels. They go to the lounge, they visit a lounge to make their travel experience better. But to complement that, we also provide insurance products and we provide assistance. So we're catering for the modern day customer who's demanding a lot more these days. They want to work with brands, they will favour brands that can give them a seamless experience and a hassle-free experience. And that's a lot about what we stand for and how we bring those experiences to life on behalf of our clients and customers. Another interesting fact, Collinson was named one of Britain's fastest growing companies globally. And that was the Sunday Times HSBC International Track of 200 companies. We're also $1 billion turnover company as of now, as of recent, and privately owned. So for over 30 years, Collinson has been successfully innovating and retaining, rewarding, protecting and assisting our customers, millions of our own customers, and across multiple sectors, and our clients and their customers. And that's pretty much what Collinson is, and that's what we're going to go on and talk about. And the rebrand is largely, plays a large part to us cementing that proposition, having a go-to-market strategy which brings all of our brands, X and new, together under one brand, which is Collinson. So how have we been doing this? Traditionally, we've been doing this under our company's 4 divisions. We've touched on this, so we've got our loyalty division, travel experiences, insurance, and assistance. We've talked about the brand, the companies and the brands that actually sit behind this, but this is what we're trying to bring together. This is the change that Collinson allows us to now talk across all of these divisions and all of our products, all of our services, and all of our propositions. So when we change, we're looking to engage deeper with our customers and drive more profitable relationships. And that's why we're here today, and that's why we're proud to be able to say we've not lost our heritage, we're not losing what ICLP had in the past. If anything, we believe we're enhancing that now in terms of giving our customers and our clients a far better proposition and solutions which we can actually articulate and really bring under one umbrella. Okay, so Collinson is our go-to-market brand, officially. And when we talk to you, we'll be talking to you as Collinson. Okay. So we talked a lot about Collinson and our heritage and a lot of the brands that have existed within the business over the 30 plus years that we've been in operation. However, we are also collaborators. We are in a time and a market globally which is changing, and it's changing at a breakneck speed. It's not always possible to develop from scratch in-house and own the whole space. You know, there's a recognition of we are experts in, and these are our core strengths. However, we're also thought leaders and innovators, whereby the business and our board have recognised that there is also a benefit for collaboration. And through collaboration is having faster go-to-market strategies where we can actually work with, as either JVs, partners, relationships with other companies who actually complement our core services. And some of them here are very recent collaborations whereby we have partnerships, we have JVs, we have stakes within the business. Locus Labs, that's an interesting one which complements our Priority Pass product. So with this company, and if any of you have actually got the Priority Pass app and you do currently use it through one of your banks or relationships, is you'll notice a new feature that's come on there where we actually map the airport for you through our Priority Pass app. So you can get geolocation data instant real time. And it can tell you where the lounge is, it can tell you where within the airport you need to go. So pretty much a GPS tracker, and we've done that through Locus Labs, not something we've developed ourselves. Travel Tech Lab, again, this is more around the innovation space, around travellers, around the millennials, the Gen X, different target audiences. What's happening? What's the next thing? Where is the market going to shift to? So sort of thought leadership and research into how can we develop our products further and not stand still. Points is an interesting one on our e-commerce platforms, a relationship whereby through, let's say, our hotel frequent guest programs and our frequent flyer programs for airlines, you earn miles and points for your program. However, through points, you can exchange those miles across different programs. You can actually buy miles, you can transfer miles, you can gift miles. Again, a perfect example of a complement to our core product. And not through in-house development, we can actually work with a third party and we have a non-competing relationship which actually works for both parties, and it just enhances our products and solutions. So, we are Collinson. We deliver smarter experiences and deeper devotion. I'm just going to play a very, very quick video for you, which hopefully just summarizes. Okay, so hopefully that sort of brought everything together, what I've tried to describe to you and give you the intro to, but I think that just sort of encapsulates the essence of why we're here and Collinson and what we stand for moving forward. So you'll see a lot of this branded material here as ICLP, but the reason I just want to touch on this is, again, we're not losing the heritage of ICLP, and we've always been thought leaders in this marketplace. Here's just a few examples of thought leadership papers, white papers, and research that we've always done, and you know, we push to the market because we're great believers in, you know, we work with so many great brands and clients in the region. What we want to share that is you know, what's our view on what the trends are, what's happening, what's hot, what's, you know, what's changing in the technology space, what's changing in the engagement space, what's changing in different sectors in retail, whether that be you know, in the airline sector, whether that might be in the retail sector or for in the financial services sector for that matter. So we've always been there, and there's just a few examples of some of the releases that we've done in the past. So just moving on from the Collinson and the rebrand, one of the other pieces of sort of content we wanted to share with you, and it's it's an exclusive. It is a preview. I will start by saying that. We do intend to actually release more detail on this particular research piece around loyalty. And I touched on this earlier, is we partnered with Foresters and you know, challenging thinking and lead change. And this is something we do quite regularly. And if you look at the previous ICOP examples we showed you, is this is more about to invoke discussion, conversation. What should we be thinking about? What should we be talking to our clients about? How can our clients improve their business? Nothing stands still. And I mentioned earlier, things move, and things are moving very, very quickly. Not just in this space, but also globally. So this research was actually commissioned by Collinson, but conducted by Forrester Consulting in 2008, so it's recent. We had 635 global responders to this piece of research. They're all loyalty practitioners. They graded themselves in their programs on a number of measures, and I'm going to take you through some of the high-level results and some of the things, some of the findings of the research and insights that we've picked up on. And it was across the retail, travel, and financial services sectors. And it was all the companies that were invited. They were anonymous, by the way. So the purpose of that was, it wasn't about getting information and trying to collate that and then get insights into a particular business. It was anonymous. It was more to understand what is happening across those sectors with these businesses. But every company we spoke to had a revenue of over $300 million, up to $5 billion. So it was of a certain market size, of a certain company size, which I'll just touch on. The significance of me sharing this with you today is this is a global piece in the research, and some of this is already being released in other markets. What hasn't been released is what were the Middle East subsets of that research, and what does that mean for us in this region. And I'm just going to touch on a few of those key insights and findings. So just to recap about the research, it was, I mentioned, of 300 million to 5 billion turnover companies, and that's just a split of who responded. Company size, in terms of number of employees, and also who was interviewed. So were the decision makers senior, and these were all senior position holders within those organizations. Okay? Just to give you that context, 635 businesses were researched in total globally. We had a representation, a very significant and strong representation in this region. 51 companies, for the results that I'm going to share with you today, were from the UAE, 51, and 31 were from KSA. So a very good representation, statistically robust in terms of the findings when we compare to what was happening versus the global results, where that was an aggregated result of the global market. So loyalty, loyalty remains a vital component of customer management. 68% of marketeers believe it is critical to high priority for them in their business. One of the areas that are important and being looked at is better analytics, better rewards, better program management. Market Research Hub, just a statistic here for you, is in 2017, market size of loyalty was almost $2 billion USD, and that's expected to notch above $7 billion by the end of 2025. Just some statistics to give you the significance and how businesses, the importance of loyalty and what they're actually putting into this, to what it means for their business. So I'll start with this slide. One of the key questions asked was, of the member of the personnel research was, who was not happy with their current loyalty initiatives. Okay? If you look on the left, globally, 32% are not happy. Okay, just over a third. Interestingly, that has shown very different results when we look at UAE and KSA. I mentioned the numbers, so this is just breaking out now as a comparison. quite surprisingly, UAE, it's a lot higher than the global average, where 45% are not happy with their current loyalty initiatives. There's a lot of detail behind this. We have our own views, and this is some of the detail that we will be looking to share and comment on and release very shortly. But I just thought it's interesting to share this in terms of sort of the thought piece and what the current market is telling us. Whereas in Saudi Arabia, KSA, 29%, only 29-30% are unhappy, which means 70% of them are happy with their programs, with their initiatives. A direct link. When asked the question, is your investment in loyalty increasing? Okay, globally, 64%. So if you refer back to the previous UAE stat, where 45% were not happy, 73% in the UAE of those polled and researched are saying yes, their investment is increasing in loyalty, which also tells you the importance that the businesses feel is required to A, stay relevant, but also move with the pace that the market's moving in terms of either technology or other areas of their programs. And that percentage was 67% in Saudi Arabia. What are the top 3 key measurements that those polled believe are important to them? If you look here, customer satisfaction, customer engagement, and program enrollments. That's quite interesting because traditionally, when we talk to clients and we talk to our prospects and we've managed programs for a number of years, it's normally the commercial and the hard KPI metrics that businesses consider as being key to a program that's operating efficiently. But if you look at these measures, the top 3 that these businesses said that were important to them as a measure of success and programs being well, customer satisfaction, engagement, and enrollments. When we compare that to Saudi Arabia versus the global stats, it's even higher. So 77% placed customer satisfaction as being one of the key metrics. Engagement and enrollments, marginally higher than globally. And similarly for UAE. So for this region, I think it's safe to say, and you know, we look at these statistics and we apply our sort of knowledge and everyday use. We're all consumers as well. No real surprise. If we look at what's happening, particularly in the UAE, a lot of emphasis on happiness. The government-driven initiatives. You know, they have happiness indicators. You pay your DEWA bill and you've got to fill in the survey poll, which I'm happy, satisfied, not satisfied, etc. So there's a lot of emphasis in this market, and it's no surprise that not only are the top key measurements for success of a program, but it's higher than the global average. So there was a portion of the brands and the businesses interviewed which said they were not happy with their program. They're also telling us that they expect there to be an increase in investment in the next 12 months. What is important to them in terms of measurement and success factors? It's customer satisfaction, engagement, and so what are the areas that they believe they need to improve in? So what's the untapped potential of the program? 68% globally say they do not have the framework to measure transactional and emotional loyalty. 61% do not use predictive analytics, and 49% do not collect a wide enough range of deep data to run deep analysis and analytics. And again, in Saudi Arabia, that's actually higher than the global average for the framework. They do not use predictive analysis. But interesting, it's actually lower, which suggests in Saudi Arabia, they believe they are collecting a wide range of data compared to the global average. And I think you see the UAE is very similar to the global stats. Let me see. So in summary, and again I will reiterate, there's a lot of data, a lot of detail behind these statistics, and there's a lot more in terms of the survey and the questions that were asked, which we will be delighted to share with you, but we're still analysing a lot of that data, and that will be released in due course, amongst other sort of papers and thought leadership work that we're doing. But just to summarise, overall, there's a very high to critical importance placed on loyalty globally. We talked about the value of the loyalty business globally. We talked about the future, where that's spent, and we believe what the value of that might be in 2025, based on research. We know that customers' experience is the ultimate battleground. You looked at the stats, it's not the program metrics, it's not the KPIs, it's customer satisfaction, it's engagement, it's looking at those softer elements of the program. Those are what are defining the success of a program. And that is the space we are in as Collinson. We drive smarter experiences, deeper devotion, customer experience and engagement. That is what our business is, and what we've been able to do is bring that business together as Collinson. So we believe that that's actually a far concise, easier brand proposition to actually take out to market to our customers and prospects, and that's what we're showing you today. I'll close off by saying there's still a long way to go when it comes to applying some of the fundamentals. You know, we're operating in a day and age where our target audience is changing, their demands are changing, everything's expected in real time, people want seamless experiences. Technology has a big part to play in that in terms of the delivery of those experiences. However, there are the engagement strategies that also need to be thought through, because technology alone does not necessarily mean success for businesses in the program. So, what's the sort of the aim, the utopia is a brand knows me, cares about me, and will go that extra mile, that understands me, and deliver products, services, experiences that actually mean something and are relevant to me. So, we are Collinson, smart experiences, deeper devotion. Thank you, everybody. That's the end of the presentation. If I can hand over to Alicia, I believe we will be happy to take some
Thank you,
questions.
Sanjay. So basically, we'll now open the floor for the media Q&A session. So if you have any questions, please address the speaker right now. So travel trends.
I have just a simple question. I just want to know what is the difference between Priority Pass and Launch Key? What are these about, and what is the difference between both?
Sure. So both products are lounge products. They give you access to lounges, but it's the format in which you access the lounges. So Priority Pass is more of a membership where you sign up for that membership and everything, and then based on the kind of membership you have chosen, it gives you X number of free visits or Y number of free visits with guests, without guests. The Launch Key offering allows you to use your payment card. So if you see with the banks where you have a MasterCard or a Visa card, you can just access the lounge by using that card. So it's usually provided as part of a payment card proposition that we provide to Master and Visa, who then work with banks to provide it to their customers.
So So you work with the master visa or you work with the individual banks?
We work in both formats, obviously, because the product in the travel experience product is quite a popular proposition for most mass and mass affluent customers. So banks want to invest in it, and obviously the networks who provide facilities to the banks want to invest in products that may add value to the banks. So there are instances where the banks directly contract with us, there are instances where they do it through master and visa as well.
Just last question, is Launch Key product is available in the region?
Yes, definitely. So with Lounge Key, if you've got your credit card, I think if you go to any of the lounges here in Dubai or in Saudi Arabia or even globally, you can use your credit card to access it, provide your credit card provider has given that benefit to you.
Okay. And can you just elaborate what are the banks in the region, like if for UAE you are part of this program?
I think your question should be which banks are not part of the program.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
I also have several questions. It's regarding collaboration with any other loyalty programs, like for example, you was mentioning that it's also miles collection and etc. etc. So for example, do you collaborate with Emirates or with Etihad? Like if I'm a member of Priority Pass and I'm also a member of loyalty of Emirates, for example, is there any chance to collaborate miles or offers, or like does it work together, or you're probably planning in the future to make it work together or something like that?
So we've got a very deep relationship with most airlines, and it's a very different kind of relationship. So there's some airlines for which we design, run, manage loyalty programs. So where even we wouldn't talk Priority Pass or the others, but we would help them design the program, the right strategy, what miles you should give, who should you give it to, how many miles you should give. Similarly, we also work with airlines. So if you look at EasyJet in the UK, when you purchase your ticket in EasyJet and you say, okay, I want to book travel insurance now, that travel insurance is provided by us.
Okay.
And then we have a third product, which is the lounge proposition, where again, we've got a very strategic relationship with airlines. There are instances where airlines, as you know, many of the airlines have got lounges not just in their home base, but they also have it in their other key hub locations. And the frequency to those hub locations is not always the highest, right? So in some instances, the airlines actually tell us that, can you manage my lounge for me? And you can open it up to maybe the members, or just manage it for me when my flight's not there, so the lounge is available as an asset for you to use as well. Another variation that we also do with lounges is there's some airlines who've got their key lounge in their hub ports and everything, and I'm talking more tier 2 airlines and everything, who probably don't have their lounges in other destinations. So when they want their business class passengers to enjoy that lounge benefit, they usually come to us and say, okay, we would like to do a Priority Pass, or we'd like to do some kind of a lounge visit deal, which allows us to give them access to lounge when they're traveling in other destinations where we don't have those lounges.
And the second question is regarding data security in CIP. Because you're collecting a lot of data, you have a lot of information regarding your corporate and private clients. So you said you have several partners, so how does it work?
So I think data overall is a very sensitive topic, especially with the recent events of what has happened around the world and so on. We are a UK-based business, so we are very much governed by GDPR and rules and regulations around that, and we follow that quite strictly. When I say we provide all of these services to our partners, it's not necessary that every time the services we provide necessarily mean the data in its actual format comes to us. So it's not a bank that will say, okay, this is Priyanka, her credit account number is X, and her expiry date is Y, and her credit limit is Z. That's not the kind of data that would come to us. All we need is a unique identifier that says, this customer is a VIP customer of this bank, so hence please give them that privilege. So that's all I know, that this ID has got this privilege. Okay, so we're very cognizant of the kind of information we collect, and we make sure it's not information that it's not relevant to us, we don't need it.
We work very closely with our clients, so we're in the business, and quite rightfully so, data is key to what we do. So through our products, solutions, propositions, it's very important that we are compliant. We are a UK-based company, which we are, but then we work very closely with our clients. To answer your question, do we control the end-to-end data regulations for our clients? No, we don't. So we can advise them, and we talk to them about best practice on the data that, or the pieces of data that we required to run the program. But from a client point of view, it's their legal departments, it's their data and security departments and legislative departments that need to really work out what is their stance and what are their obligations. We can advise and we work with them, but it's not the end to end. That's not the business that we're in.
So technically, if I want to track one of your, for example, loyalty client, let's say private one, I can easily do it, or what?
Sorry, can you
If I want to track one of your loyalty clients, yeah, for example, like I can see that Mr. B was like using the private jet in airport, Washington DC, for example, and arriving to Dubai, World Central in Dubai. Just going through your application, I can see where this person was traveling around the world or not. Or I can see it from his company profile. That was my question. That was about data security and privacy.
So just to give you again, let's say somebody in all of the three different services, right? So if I talk about my insurance product, where somebody has purchased an insurance when they booked through EasyJet, okay? Of course, then I know this person is traveling from point A to point B because he's taken an insurance product. Insurance product, obviously you have to understand a lot more, but then you're highly regulated product, so you know your data is well protected in terms of how it's used in the others. When you talk about lounge, I actually don't know whether it's Mr. X or Y. All I know is ID number X, Y, and Z has been to St. Petersburg, he's been to Dubai on this particular date because he used the lounges. So all I know is Mr. X, whoever that Mr. X is, I don't have a name, I don't know what company he belongs to, I have no idea about anything else. All I know is this ID XYZ had a travel pattern like this. But what it does tell us is that when we share those travel patterns back with the clients whose customer he is, they can then use that in a very smart way to drive a little bit more of their strategy, saying, hey, that's interesting, so this is where he travels. If I'm a bank, let me give him an offer in these 5 places. So they can use the data very intelligently based on the missing information that we give them, which is basically this lounge, this lounge, this lounge.
I think that's the very key point there is our client data is the client's.
It's not.
It doesn't get shared. We work with a lot of brands and a lot of clients, but we don't amalgamate that data and we don't share that with one client to the next. And again, that's obviously core to our business. So that's the key point.
Mr. Gill, sorry. My question is directed towards you. I noticed in your slides you emphasize more on UAE and Saudi Arabia. Do you have a specific growth strategy for the rest of the GCC or the Middle East as a whole?
Good question. The reason we focused on those 2 markets for the research piece is it's twofold. First is obviously the size of businesses and the companies that we have researched tend to be headquartered in those 2 regions. With the clients that we have today in the market, the same applies. We actually operate with a number of our clients who have operations across the GCC and Africa. However, at head office level, who we talk to, who we deal with, because we run central operations, tends to be in the UAE or Saudi Arabia. So the numbers would be far smaller if you start breaking out, and actually we get the coverage of brands that are operating across the GCC.
And sorry, my second question is the fact that since there are so many key players in the loyalty industry today, what sets you apart from the rest of them? We've got Air Miles on one side, we've got, I think companies have their own loyalty programs as well. Is there anything that sets you guys apart from the rest of them?
Okay. Firstly, I think there's 2 parts to that question. When you say companies have their own loyalty programs, we operate and manage a lot of them. So we are a service industry. There can be a combination of we help set it up, we define it, we strategize, we design the program for them, and then there can be a case whereby they want to take that in-house and manage it themselves, or they want to outsource it completely, or partial. There'll be certain services within the operations, for example, whereby it suits the business to actually run that themselves. So there's a number of plays, there's a number of models that we can work with our clients. So that's the first part. The programs that you see out there in the market, we probably work with many of them. Some of them have been designed in-house. I'm not saying they go out and work with agencies. They do develop it and run and manage them in-house. And then the second part of the question is for Air Miles, very different proposition because that's more, it's a coalition program. It's It's a group of companies come together, common platform, common earning, an air miles product, and that is the gist of the program. There's very few coalitions in this region, for starters, so air miles is one of those. We tend to operate in the space of proprietary loyalty programs. So again, coming back to the earlier point, clients are talking to us because they want us to design and run or manage their own program, which is a standalone program, not part of a coalition.
And I think the unique proposition that Collinson brings to the table is that our journey doesn't start and stop with just designing a program or giving you a full service set of it, right? From there, if you really want to engage with your customers and drive something more with that relationship, we can bring that. You know, some of the data insights thing that we were talking about, more just in terms of how we can bring further, you know, complete the pieces of the puzzles for a brand so they can have a more engaged relationship. So it gives us a very unique position to be in. Equally with some of the innovations that we're doing in our world, because of the end user products that we have. So if you see in Priority Pass, for example, when we've tied up with Locus Labs to do journey mapping and the others and so on, that gives us a unique advantage of understanding these things better. So when we're talking to retail brands, we can just say, how do you drive customer engagement? It's not just about points and prices today. Everybody wants that experience, right? So we can actually tell them, this is how you can do it. These are the 10 other things. So we're not restricted just in the loyalty space, and I think that's the way you need to see Collinson.
And just to add a final point to as well, being a global company and obviously focused on a particular set of sectors, one thing that where we can add value working with clients in terms of what they do, loyalty-wise, if we can obviously bring to bear the experience we've gained in a number of markets worldwide into any conversation locally, and that carries an enormous amount of value.
So other than this loyalty and the reward services, do you have any plan to enter into insurance sector in GCC countries or in South Asia?
In the insurance sector, you asked. Yeah, we actually already provide insurance in this region as well. So Columbus Travel Insurance in the app is available through fronting partners over here. So those who have got the right regulatory guidelines and everything and all, they can actually sell our product in the region. So UAE is definitely one of the countries that's where travel insurance is available. We are also, a lot of the assistance product, like one of the, just as an example, I'll talk about Smart Delay. What Smart Delay is basically, if your flight is delayed, the airline or a brand that you're a customer of can give you an access. So you register your travel details and then gives you an access to saying that, hey, you've got a delay, why don't you go to this restaurant and enjoy a meal? Or why don't you go to the lounge and relax till your flight is ready to leave, or so on, you know. So these are assistance products which are not necessarily in the typical insurance areas. And all of these are pretty much products that we are introducing in the region as well. Yeah.
Do you have any questions further?
When are you going public?
As you saw, it's a privately owned company.
Yeah.
Owned by a chap called Colin Evans. He was recently bought his two sons into the business about 5-6 years ago. Christopher and David Evans were our working CEOs of the company. Certainly the message from top down is they have no intention for this foreseeable future of listing the company. They intend to keep it private.
Right.
And I think a big part of that is what they think is very important to agree with, is that being independent and being privately owned keeps us agile, keeps us entrepreneurial, and obviously able to continue innovating and really focusing on the space that we're in without being beholden to shareholders or otherwise in terms of what we think the right thing is to do.
That's good. Just one other question. Obviously, we've seen proliferation of discount-led programs across the UAE, particularly in the recessionary climate that we're experiencing at the moment. Government departments have things like MSAD. There's just numerous discount programs. How do you kind of go to your clients in this climate and start to put together a suite of benefits that are beyond the discount? How does that look in the current situation?
Well, I'll pick up and then you can
Yeah,
concrete.
sure.
I think just typically we would have a view in terms of loyalty about discounts. And I think for us, it's not a bad thing. We just think that discounts have a very specific role to play in the overall approach in terms of loyalty. The loyalty program isn't enough
Sure.
in terms of what we're trying to do. advise clients when it comes to adding or introducing discounts into any sort of consumer proposition is to be very mindful and very wary about dilution. So ultimately it's a conditioning exercise that you, particularly where you do have insights about who your most valuable customers are, the last thing you want to be doing is basically conditioning them or offering them discounts for something they would dilute. That's just a lot of dilution.
Yeah.
So having said that, there are obviously a number of different segments in the consumer base. You will have, across most clients, a more budget conscious, a more price savvy segment, people that do get more motivated by a discount. So I guess the smart approach really is knowing where to apply based on consumer segment and motivators, and discount as part of an overall customer engagement strategy, not across the board because you risk dilution.
The media Q&A session is now closed. Thank you very much again for joining us, and please do join us for lunch at the Olive Restaurant, where you can have further conversations and engagement with the spokespeople. I'd like to now hand over back to Sanjit to conclude the session.
Thank you, Lucia. So once again, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for taking the time out today. Hopefully we haven't overrun too much. Apologies for the slightly delayed start. I hope you found today's session useful. Again, just like to reiterate, there's plenty of opportunity to meet us over lunch. We really appreciate to have more time, conversations, and maybe dig a little bit deeper into some of the discussion points that we've brought up. But I think the key message here is that this is just the beginning. We will be in touch. There's a lot more planned activity through our marketing and communications department in terms of not only just the research piece, but also more thought leadership work that we will continue to strive to deliver to the market, and that's all in the pipeline. But what we didn't want to do was sort of hold back, but get this message out today. So thank you very much for attending. Appreciate the time that you've taken out to be with us today, and please do join us for lunch at the Olive Restaurant. I believe it's just on the other side of the courtyard, that's the hotel lobby, and we look forward to engaging with you and having more discussion over lunch. Thank you.
Thank you.